Well, it's basically, people getting on with their lives. You think it's all alright, you've kind of accepted your lot, and suddenly, bam, something happens. Flips it all every which way, and then you land and see what happens. Well, I loved it immediately. I just think, oh, it was great with dialogue. Do you know what I mean? Because I did Loved Up years ago, and it hasn't. It's the same. It's the same thing. It's how people talk. And it's pretty rare to get that. To get something that you can just read off the page. You don't want to sit and change anything. And characters are all fantastic. It's very funny, but it's still very honest. It doesn't kind of sacrifice any of that, any of the truth. So I just thought it was cracker. Well, I went in to meet him and did the worst meeting I've ever done probably in my life. Because I loved it. Do you know what I mean? I think it's very rare when you read something that you do genuinely. It's like finding someone that you kind of think is lovely. Do you know what I mean? You're like, how much should I do in order to chase that? You know what I mean? It's kind of how you feel about a script. I get that same way. I'm like, don't want to embarrass myself by going, please do it. But when you're sitting there in a room and you can do it, you just hope that they feel the same way. You know what I mean? So I went and I read, and then they were like, yeah. So I was like, okay. She seems like the outside, like her and her mother, because she's from, her father left, so she's sort of been brought up with her mother, and her mum's kind of given up. And Luce sort of, I guess she hasn't done the same thing, but there's no kind of, she's not chasing anything, And then she sees this one person that just has such a huge impact on her, and it's that thing where she lets it be, but there's so much else going on that really isn't it's not in her control. You know what I mean? She's set up, she's in her situation, and Luce is kind of here saying, this is who I am and this is what I want, but the other person isn't in that position, so there's nothing she can do really, but she's gone there already, you know what I mean, with herself. What is it about anyone? I mean, it's really tough. It's like people say that about boyfriends and girlfriends. They go, what is it? And then I think you go too far to try and explain what it is about someone. And then it just sounds like a bag of fruit. You know what I mean? I just think it's something. It's sort of, all the physical stuff is there. She's beautiful. So that is the initial kind of thing, I guess. And then when you stare at each other, when they lock in, it's a recognition of something. I don't know. It's always a challenge, you know what I mean? Because you want to make it true and believable and interesting for someone to sit and watch. But I mean, I've known Piper. We did something together before, so there's that. There's that kind of nice ease with each other, which is great. And she's fantastic to work with, easy, and it's just feels cool and natural and there's no forcedness about it. It's pretty easy, do you know what I mean? Just gotta have your feet on the ground, that's it. Connect somewhere and then you're there, hopefully. He's just easy. I mean, it's a real pleasure to be here, you know what I mean? It's a pleasure to come to work, it's a pleasure to, no, actually I was gonna say to get up at 5, but that's not. But, and someone sets the tone for a place to work in, it's really important, and it does make a huge difference. And I was just very present and relaxed about the whole thing, which gives you, the freedom, and you feel safe.